What up, Em?
Yeah, sorry. But anyway, sorry, just drying my hair.
Yeah, I don't have that problem.
For you, yeah, I know. It's not fun sometimes.
No.
Um, for you, as far as the trade deadline is concerned, how involved are you in?
The last thing I heard was how involved are you? Is that
You're frozen, Emily.
And so
You're very frozen.
sorry. I'm not trying to. Let me see if I can fix that. Am I not frozen now?
I can hear you.
Fine, just
Yeah.
stay off don't stay off video.
Okay. As far as the trade deadline is concerned, how much are you a part of those conversations with JD?
I would say obviously I'm not up in the room with them all day. They've been up there for a while, but he fills me in on pretty much anything that's kind of in the works, or and I'm obviously on a lot of threads that hearing a lot of dialogue about a lot of different things. So they keep me up to date pretty much every day on sometimes more as after a game or something, like, hey, this is getting a little bit closer, or that there's a ton of things obviously being said and going on, but he keeps me up to date pretty well.
We talked about that 30-game mark and how you were might kind of settle in with some things because of your limited resources as far as who's available to you. Do you still feel like you're able to manipulate things the way you want to?
Yeah, I think so. I think as I think after this road trip, honestly, we're always going to kind of reevaluate. And listen, we're running out of games. Obviously, we're under 30 now. So, this road trip, we play Houston, and then we get back after the Seattle series. We're kind of looking at around that area to maybe make some more moves. Potentially, if we feel like some guys, we want to bring up are ready, or can be ready, or just maybe fill in or be part of it. So it's just we're constantly talking about that, but I feel comfortable where we're at right now as far as being able to get some guys some significant looks and experience. To be honest with you, I think it's important.
What about starting rotation wise? Do you feel like you're gonna? I mean, obviously, depending on the trade deadline, are you gonna stick with what you've got, or are you gonna try to give some guys a look in that spot too?
I think we're going to probably get a little bit creative at times, depending on if guys are throwing the ball really well. Obviously, if Colby throws like he did last time, I don't see anything happening with him. It depends on who we lose. If we lose one of our main guys, then obviously we got to fill that void with somebody. And the way Kyle Cody threw the ball last night, that's something that I've kind of wanted to see a little more length, and to see him go through the Dodgers lineup that way was pretty impressive. So if that kind of transitions into a 3 or 4 inning, or maybe build him up even more as we get closer to the end to maybe 80 to 90 pitches. But there's some piggyback situations where we can kind of put guys together. There's a few things that we can do that we're kind of thinking about, but we have to wait and see obviously after tomorrow and see where we stand.
Thanks, Ray. Sorry about my being frozen.
Questions? Evan?
Hey, Woody, in talking about significant looks for guys and whatnot, yesterday you mentioned that Elvis was on the verge of being activated from the IL. At this point in time, do you need to spend more time looking at Isaiah at shortstop than Elvis?
No, I think we owe it to Elvis. Obviously, he'll be activated probably after the game today, and I want to see what Elvis has. Like I've gotten a good look at Kiner. I love the way he plays, but Elvis has been our starting shortstop. I think we owe it to him to kind of get him back in there and see how he looks and see how he feels. He should be 100%, and that's kind of what I imagine and expect. And I want to see him go out and help us win games.
So then Kiner would go back to third base?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, I might mix Kiner in there at times, but as of right now, it's those two guys on the left side are kind of what I envision.
And then providing like Frazier doesn't get traded, Frazier and Guzman share first base pretty much.
Yeah, and the way Frazier's swinging the bat, like I'm gonna try to keep him in there as much as possible. Even against righties, he's been pretty good for us.
Okay. Very good. That was it for my line of questioning for the minute.
Where else? Jeff?
This is not trade deadline related, but there's been an A's player tested positive in Houston. That's where you guys go next, immediately. Yep. So I'm just wondering how much that is on your radar at this point in time.
It's definitely on our radar. It's, as of right now, all systems are kind of go, but, we're kind of prepared. Good thing is we have an off day and we weren't going to leave till tomorrow anyways, so we have a little bit of time to kind of sort through it and, talk with MLB and see what the latest is. If somebody from Houston tests positive, we probably don't play. I mean, that'd be my guess. They have at least a couple days to clean the clubhouse, do all those things. We don't share any facilities, with Oakland as far as hotel and, buses and all that. So the only thing we would share would be the clubhouse. So hopefully there's no issue, but we're definitely prepared to handle any issue moving forward for sure.
Has it gotten to the point in discussions that it's possible the series shifts here?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they would do that.
Other questions, PR?
Chris, do you expect Lance Lynn to be with the Rangers past Monday?
I don't know. Yes. Wishful thinking.
What is your feeling on that?
I don't know. I mean, like I said before, if I was an opposing team that was in a contention to win a World Series, like that would be the guy that I would target, but it might be a heavy ask. I don't know. It's you still got another year, pretty low, price. There should be a pretty high asking price for us. So I don't know if somebody's willing to step up and pay that.
Do you feel, because I've been hearing this from your fans, do you feel like this team needs a reboot, a new direction of young players? And that's the question.
In some ways, yes, I do. I think it's there's been a definitely an injection of youth into our team for sure, which I'm actually excited about because they do a lot of the things. They play the game hard. They prepare. They do all those things, and we're going to see better versions of those young guys soon. The more we play them, the more they're going to get experience and learn and grow, and I'll do all the things that we ask. So, but yeah, I do think it's definitely turned into more of a youthful team, and it probably will continue to, throughout the rest of this season.
So you would welcome trades that bring younger players into the system?
Yeah, especially if they fit our mold. If those guys are hungry and want to get better and want to improve and, are competitive on the field, absolutely. As long as they're somewhat close. It's tough sometimes to get the 18 or 19-year-olds that are 5 years away, but if some of these guys are close and can help us, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions, please? Levi?
Just going back to Evan's question about your infield, obviously you have to prioritize something over others. When it comes to first base, where does that priority scale go from having Todd Frazier in there? He's been hitting well, and also like seeing if Guzman's adjustments have been. I mean, obviously had a great game last night. It's one game, but seeing if that has stuck and if this is a for real advancement.
Yeah, it is. It's something I think about a lot in a lot of different scenarios. If Guzzi continues to show that kind of production, then he's probably going to find himself in the lineup. He actually got a hit off a lefty yesterday. Double down the line. So there's a lot of little things that I'm watching. But yeah, you definitely take that into account. Is Todd Frazier our future compared to Ronald Guzman? Could be our future. Absolutely. But also, I want to make sure these young guys aren't just given anything. They have to earn it. Todd Frazier's worked his butt off. I mean, he's competitive. He goes out and has quality at bats. He doesn't give in. He does all the things we ask as well. So I want him to continue to show the example for the younger guys. And it's like these guys got to know it is a meritocracy when it comes to getting out on the field. Like they got to produce. So, that's a beautiful thing about this game, and the competitiveness, amongst teammates is actually sometimes is the best driver to get production out of guys. And if Guzzi continues to play well and swing the bat like he did yesterday, it's like I said, it's only one game, but if he continues to do that, he'll find himself in the lineup.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Chris?
I guess just my follow-up to that would be, not just at first base, but just all over the diamond and even in the rotation in the bullpen. How do you balance committing to your veterans, but at the same time allowing the young players to get the experience that they need, especially considering that there's no AAA that they can go down and go play in?
Yeah, that's a tough balance. It really is. We're trying to win games, but at the same time knowing there's going to be certain times when you maybe place a younger player in a situation where he's hasn't been before, or maybe hasn't had success in before, and you may have to deal with some adversity there, and some difficulty and some not positive outcomes at times. So those are things that that's growth and that's development. Like, we have to get some of these guys involved and get them in games and see what they got. Like last night comes to mind, and I felt full well that Taylor was going to go in and dominate. And listen, it happens. It's baseball. You give up a homer, so what? But we got to learn from that, and we got to grow from that. And that's something that I look forward to. But it also hurts sometimes because you may lose a game because of it.
Dave?
Hey, Woody, with Kyle today, his last couple of starts, not as sharp as his earlier starts. Is there something that you guys have identified in particular with him, or was it just a couple of bumps?
No, I think he just needs to be more consistent. Some of his misses are kind of wide, and it's when he's sharp, he's really good. And you can see he kind of goes through stretches where it's like an inning or two where he's really, really sharp, and then just maybe one hitter or two, it just kind of gets a little wild, or gets a little his misses just become bigger, which if he can clean a lot of those up and just kind of get it tighter, I think he'll be fine. He's got enough to get lefties, righties out. It doesn't matter, and obviously this is a good lineup, but when he's executing, man, he's really, really good. And we're just kind of trying to be more consistent and just kind of get through an entire outing where he's just consistently, targeting his spots. I think that's really important for him, and if he can do that, he'll be successful.
And I have one more about your defense, because I feel like it's been a part of the conversation a lot lately. And yet when I go look at the fielding Bible, and I know everybody's got their different ways of measuring these things, you guys actually grade out pretty well. And in particular, your right fielder is, in fact, we're watching the two best right fielders in baseball according to the fielding Bible and defensive runs saved. Any comments on what you see from Joey?
Joey's he's going to win a Gold Glove. He should. He's in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, right fielders. Just by the way he plays the game, the effort level that he gives on a pitch-by-pitch basis. Like, he's a really good route runner. He's fast. He's really good around the wall, both walls, like the side wall as well. He's long. His ability to catch the baseball, on the run or around, like I said, around the wall is one of the best. He's got a cannon for an arm, accurate arm. So there's really no flaw, to be honest with you. He's a good diver. He's a good slider. There's always a flaw typically with an outfielder, but Joey really has none. And so I think he's, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best. I know Mookie's really good as well. So you got the two best basically in baseball, in my opinion, out there today.
Better arm for Mookie, or where do you come down on that?
Joey's probably got better arm strength. Mookie might be a little bit quicker getting rid of it. They're both pretty accurate, so I don't know who's got more accuracy, but they're both really good. Mookie's made some plays that are pretty spectacular out there as well. So, yeah, I'd say overall our defense, I expect it to be good. Like, we put a lot of effort into preparing for it. It's just that for some reason at times this year where we just needed to make a play, we didn't, and it was like whether it was a double play we didn't turn, or a play we didn't get, didn't finish off, and the other team ends up scoring 2 or 3 runs. And typically that's a result of when your offense isn't clicking on all cylinders, you can't afford to give away any extra outs that lead to runs, and that's basically what's kind of hampered us throughout the year.
One or two more. Evan Grant.
It always takes me time to catch up before I actually can form the next thought. But in regards to my questions, Woody, when you, and this goes for both middle infielders, because you've got Odor still out with the eye infection. He's out with the eye infection today, right?
Yeah.
And I would assume that you'd hope that he'd be back on Tuesday. But when he gets back, what you said you owe something to Elvis. What do you guys owe to Elvis and Odor at this point in time?
Well, I think I've been pretty fair, and just as far as listen, we signed these guys to be the answer. You know what I mean? And I've only been here a year, so I want to make them the answer, obviously. And in Rougie's case, he's put a lot of time and work in trying to figure this thing out. He gets frustrated sometimes because it's not working out the way he'd like. But we got to support him through that. And maybe at some point, the playing time goes down a little bit, and we want to see somebody else if they're here. If Tejeda comes up, maybe I will put him out there a few more times. Make it more of a competitive environment to say who wants the job, basically. Because it is, at the end of the day, you do have to be productive. I don't mind, obviously giving guys, more leeway when they're doing the things that we think are going to lead to success. Baseball's hard, and I know that. And sometimes you get a little dip in the road. It's been a longer dip in the road for both of them, but I'd like to give them an opportunity if they're doing the things we want, and that's what it comes down to. And if they start being productive, maybe they are the answer. If not, then maybe we'll have to, I'll have to make adjustments and give other guys opportunities as well.
And then just on Cody, for the last thing for me on Cody, is there I guess whatever happens with Lance, that might impact when you would potentially give Cody like a stretched out outing, maybe as a elongated opener?
Maybe, yeah. It could be like I said, a piggyback. If we go like a bullpen day or something where he ends up starting and he goes 3 or 4 innings or however long he can go, then it's just it's a bullpen day, but he started, or something,
right.
Something to that effect.
But if you did Lance, that would be. It sounds like that would be the guy you'd like to most take a look at in a longer role, not necessarily as a starter, but to start stretching out.
Yeah. I think we're all intrigued by it. He's pitching really well, and it's the composure, everything that comes with it, the stuff. He's pretty good right now.
Great. Okay, thank you.
How would you evaluate Kyle's performance today?
After talking to him, it was good to see him kind of get through that last inning. I've been trying to kind of push him to, especially later in those, the 80 to 100 pitch mark. Like, Kyle's going to be with us for 2 more years. So, we want to see Kyle kind of take on that role of, one of the better ones. And, talking to him, he's just frustrated because every time he gives up a fly ball, it's a home run. And that's obviously a team over there that does that, better than anybody in baseball. But overall, just a lot of, I talked to Julio a little bit about it, just a lot of easy takes. I think that's what we got to kind of clean up. So there's some, swing counts, some 1-1 counts that are just like ball straight down. And those are the things that, like, if those are more competitive pitches, you might see maybe some chase at times, or even like a ground ball. But there's just, for some reason, he just keeps kind of, like I said, like I said before the game, there's just some bad misses that are easy takes, which gets them into hitters counts and advantage counts that, obviously today they took advantage of and they hit some home runs.
We saw in the first game of this series that kind of top to bottom, productive at bats. Did anything change in the next 2 games, or was it just a pitching matchup matter? What was it?
No, they just keep coming at you, man. Like, you'll get them one time. We got them the first game, obviously, and I knew that, talking to Julio, I know that team well. Like, they take pride in that. 1 to 9, they're going to give you tough at bats, and even if a guy strikes out or punches out, it seems like it takes 3 or 4 or 5 pitches, sometimes 6 pitches. You see the 2-2 take that they swung at 1-1. They don't swing at it again with 2 strikes. So you have to keep executing pitches, and it kind of wears you out. It wears you out a little bit, and obviously our pitching we threw some decent guys out there today, but they kind of wore us down, I think, over the last 2 games.
What about for you guys offensively? Anything different than what you saw in the opener from your club?
Kind of, it's something I talk about a lot. Obviously, we want to have that same mentality. We want to have that kind of relentless, there's some guys kind of navigating through how to learn through, you know, controlling different at-bats against different types of pitching. And, when you play the same team, especially like that they throw the ball over the plate and they execute. And, if you're not up to the challenge of kind of knowing what may be coming or where to attack, that pitch in the strike zone, they're going to get you. They're going to, you see Scott Alexander come in and we hit 3 ground balls. It's like trying to get that ball in the air, against certain guys, like that's what that team does pretty well. They take that away from you and make you either go to a different pitch or they beat your strength. And, that's something that we're kind of in the process of trying to figure out.
That's it for me. Thanks, Woody.
Other questions, TR?
Chris, when the Rangers hierarchy sits around and talks about big needs on this club, where does the lack of home run power and sheer firepower rank as far as things that are a priority for you guys?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's definitely a priority. I mean, you see our ball club now. We don't slug a lot right now. I think from depending on who we would go after, if it's a younger version of a potential superstar, or I don't know exactly how we access that via free agency next year, or I don't know, but we do need a little bit more firepower, especially in the middle of the lineup, to kind of carry the load at times. You see other teams, especially in our division, they're pretty middle heavy, if I might say, and it makes it tough for that opposing team to kind of pitch to you, knowing that like today, you make a few mistakes and it's a 3-0 game. That's something that we've missed obviously this year.
I mean, in the bottom of the third, you guys had a chance to really do some damage, and you think your 3, 4, and 5 hitters did get it out of the infield. How crucial was that in for you guys?
Yeah, it ended up being the game. Obviously, Trevino's been swinging, one of our hottest bats, so he's obviously not going to get a hit every time. But I thought Joey got a couple good rips. I think he would like to have back, middle of the plate, swung through him, but then takes a really close 3-2 pitch that I thought, wasn't a strike, and unfortunately that kind of swung the whole inning. If it's a 4-2 game right there with the bases loaded and 1 out, it's a different at bat for Frazier. So. And he ended up having a really good at bat, just fouled off a bunch of pitches and ended up getting them at the end. But yeah, I mean, that was a crucial inning for us, and I kind of knew it. At least getting within a couple runs, or at least within a run. But to come out of it only 4-1, it hurt.
Next question. Evan.
Hey, the next time you get together with this team, it's conceivable that all those guys we talked about before the game, Lynn, Gallo, any number of veterans, I don't have to go through the whole list. A, do you address anything with these guys today? And B, what would be your message if you do kind of to your team if we do see kind of a wholesale overhaul of the roster?
I'll think about that when I find out. I'm not going to address the team today. I think it's just part of baseball. Like, I'm not going to say, hey guys, I don't know if anybody's going to be here tomorrow or the next day. But I think after the fact, maybe when we get to Houston, if there has been a massive amount of movement, then that's different. Maybe I would address it or send out an email or something to kind of rally the troops and just kind of talk about the direction from here on out. If we're going to change direction, you know what I mean. So I don't. I'll look at it as we go, but I'll just obviously sleep on it tonight and think about it into tomorrow.
And have you thought about it at all, and what's your perspective on it?
About the trade deadline, or just addressing the team?
Awesome, the overhaul issue.
Yeah.
And how
Yeah.
you would deal with the team that's clearly restarted a rebuilding process?
I don't care what team you give me. I'm going to try to win. I mean, I hate losing, so it's like we're going to try to do everything we can to win. If that's a young team, it's a young team. Then it just means we have a ton of growth and learning that we need to do. If it's a veteran team, then you would expect, it doesn't matter. We're going to adapt as a staff, and I'm going to adapt as a manager. Like, whatever team you put in front of me, I'm going to try to get that team to win that night. Now, if it's a young team, you have to really focus on like growth and learning. Like, there has to be development at this level. A lot of people have told me, they're in the big leagues. They know what they're doing. That's not true. And that's not true nowadays, and it never has been. We take a lot of pride in a staff at creating that environment, that continual growth and learning. So you see a team like across the way, that's what our team may look like, in a year or two, if you have younger players that really buy in and start to understand things.
Great, thank you, Chris.
Other questions for Woody? Jeff?
How much of you is just like, you know what, this season is totally screwed up. We built a team in spring training we thought was going to win over the course of 62 games. Let's keep it together. Or have these 30-something games expose what would have happened over a longer season?
No, I mean, I think you always go into a season obviously optimistic. You know what your holes are and what you need to work on and improve on, but at no point are we, like throwing in the towel or doing anything of that sort. Like, it is what it is. Like, we've addressed a lot of things that we need to get better, and we're going to continue to do that. I think that's, we're not taking our foot off the gas as far as trying to understand how to play better baseball, how to pitch better, how to execute better, how to have better quality at bats, what we look for, our mentality in every situation. Like, we're talking about these things all the time, and we're not going to stop, regardless of whether we, win 50 games in a row or lose them. It doesn't matter. We're going to attack each day and try to improve these players.
Other questions for Woody? Matt?
Chris, if you were asked this in the beginning, I'm sorry. How is the morale of your team right now?
Yeah, I think it's okay. I think we're fighting, we're grinding. Nobody likes to lose, and I don't think anybody in there is happy about losing games. But there's a lot of fight. You hear them talking about the game, when we're on the bench, they're talking about who's coming in, how we're going to beat this guy. In our meetings, they're upbeat still. So I don't think anybody in there likes losing. So it's not like it's a cheerful, happy environment. But at the same time, it's there's a lot of guys, trying to figure things out. And I applaud them for that. And we keep fighting. But listen, we got to play better to win games. That's for sure.